right, everybody, hello. If you can hear me, type a Y into the chat. Want to make sure my mic is working before we get started here. Thanks for being with me today. I'm very excited to do a live stream, and talk guitar. Happy Saturday. Just gonna wait another second or so, just make sure the mic is working, and we'll get started. And nice, I see Simon in the chat. Not sure how to add comments to the feed yet, but I will soon. Is this any better? Okay. So, yeah, if you guys don't know me, for the people that are here now, awesome. Kind of was a little last minute sort of thing that I wanted to get going. And I just haven't been doing YouTube stuff for so long. And I've been doing my newsletter for so long for my website, Chasing Sound, that I really wanted to get back to YouTube and do something like a hangout session. Um, Maybe a little bit behind the scenes, Q&A. If you see this after the fact, I know we're not going to get that many people this first time, but if you see this after the fact, that'll be great. And just comment, because let me introduce myself first. As you can see, I'm rusty. I've been doing podcasts for a long time, but I haven't been doing any live streams in years now. So my name is Brian. I'm from Chasing Sound. It's a guitar website that I've been doing for a very, very long time. And I also have a newsletter that goes out every Sunday called Six String Sunday. That's been going out without fail for, I just looked, I think we just crossed, we're almost at about 250 issues that I sent out. So everyone who's subscribed to that, we got a couple hundred people on that list. Thank you so much. It's one of my favorite things to do each and every week. And in addition to that, we also have a Discord going. And the Discord is just a bunch of us guys talking about guitar, maybe too much, right? Every day. And it's a lot of fun. So if you're not in the Discord, check out the rest of my channel here on YouTube, because I do have a video all about it, which has a link to sign up. So drop in there, say hi. But I want to do these live streams because I'm such a fan of guys like Levi Clay, Mick Rocklin, who does a lot of streaming on Twitch, Dave Weiner, Ola England. Who else? There's so many. There's so many right now. If you're reading, if you're watching this later, feel free to comment and let me know who your favorite streamer is. I think that'd be really cool. Like I said, this is a little bit last minute, so I can't imagine too many people will show up. But I sent an email out last night, and to, like I said, a couple hundred people, just to see what they'd be doing. I think another good thing I'd like to know is, does Saturday work for most people? What time is best? I tried to pick 4 o'clock today because I wanted to pick a time that kind of works for East Coast and also for West Coast, maybe a little bit after lunch, and then heading into dinner for the East Coast guys. But yeah, the Discord is a lot of fun. The newsletter's been a lot of fun, and I want to talk about that a little bit today. I wrote down a couple topics. I'm not super planned out for this one, but I wanted to maybe do a little Q&A if we get a couple more people on. Talk about the newsletter. Talk about stuff that's happening now around not only guitar, but the music industry, now that we're getting back to hopefully seeing shows again, and what we're doing with that. A lot of that information, a lot of those questions came from the Discord, so thank you guys. Also want to talk a little bit about guitar books. As you can see, I have a lot of guitar books over here. Crazy amount of guitar books at this moment. We talk about that in the Discord quite a bit too. Just a lot of stuff that I really enjoy. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Sheet Happens, which is a really good publisher that I've been starting to get books from. And then maybe talk about our favorite YouTube guitar channels and so on. So let's get started. First things first, as I mentioned, Six String Sunday, one of my most favorite things that I do each and every week. Let's see here. I have a screen share. So if you take a look over here, I've been putting the Six String Sunday newsletters up on the website too for you to take a look at. This is the one for last week. And as you can see, we talk about a lot of different stuff. We got information from new unreleased footage from Eddie Van Halen. We have Pete Thorne talking about pedals as preamps. A whole thing from Justin Guitar, who if you know guitar and you do guitar lessons online, you definitely know Justin Guitar. He did a video of teaching guitar, how to get started with that, and a lot more. I mean, most weeks, I would say my newsletter would be somewhere in like the 1,500 words category. Definitely between 1,000 and 1,500 words, and a bunch of different links. And I'm trying to touch on all bases. I've gotten so many different guitar newsletters over the past couple years. I got stuff from Guitar Player, Guitar World, and I just what I do is for better or for worse is I kind of go through YouTube each day, and I look at my favorite guitar channels, and I've had my favorites that I've loved over the past couple of years. Also have a lot of people in the Discord who recommend their favorite channels, which is really cool, and I get to see all sorts of new stuff. And then I just try to take a little bit of a look at each and every one and see if it's worth putting in the newsletter. My main focus is on news and lessons, and we do have a little bit of gear stuff related in there, but as you can see, there's a lot of different lessons that I try to go over each week, and I think there's so much content now over the last couple of years. I think a newsletter like this is good because I try to get the best stuff, or at least the best stuff to me, and share it with you guys. Like Mark Letary doing an official video for his new song Pulsar off his baritone sessions, new album, which is awesome. If you haven't heard of Mark Letary is not only doing his own solo stuff, but he's in Snarky Puppy. He also is with Corey Wong and company in the Fearless Flyers. But these last two albums, the last two solo albums he's done, are all baritone, and they're really awesome. And we have stuff like John Mayer's getting a lot of traction right now. Not like he hasn't, but for a little while he would play with the Grateful Dead or Dead and Company, and now he's back. He's coming out with his new album again, and his single "Last Train Home" is out. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and sometimes gear news gets put into there, from something like a video like John Mayer. For instance, John Mayer's new Silver Sky. He has a pink Silver Sky. I haven't seen that yet, so that's pretty cool. We also had Steve Vai turning 61. He's just getting over a injury where his arm was in a sling, and just like Steve Vai, when his arm was in a sling, he was playing guitar single-handedly, and I posted a link into the newsletter where he played it single-handedly, just with hammer-ons and pull-offs, and it was better than most of the stuff I can do now. Personally, I've been playing guitar. We're coming up on 25 years soon. I think it's about 23 years now. But yeah, the newsletter is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy you guys reading it every week. We got a couple hundred subscribers, and it's been a little slow going, but it's been a lot of fun. I will post a link to the sign-up page here in the chat. This is the sign-up page right here. Also, I send you a coupon code to this bundle that I did in Guitar Pro, and it's also in PDF format for 50 amazing finger exercises. The cool thing about this is just exercises that I like to do before warming up. And it's really inexpensive. I think it's like less than $3 right now, especially with the discount code. But yeah, otherwise you can just go to chasingsound.com/newsletter, and you can look at a couple other issues. from the past. This is actually my chasingsound.com/newsletter page. This is a telly I actually played in Denmark. This orange telly, really, really, really cool stuff. I was on a trip for work, and I got to go to Woodstock Guitars and play this. I can't remember the brand, but if anyone remembers, let me know. The price was in kronas when I was there, so I wasn't looking to bring home a guitar on my trip. I can't afford that right now. But yeah, that's basically the newsletter. You know, a lot of cool stuff that that just kind of is all over the map. And I think in the future for the show, I'd like to talk about maybe past issues of Six String Sunday, or future issues about, you know, what's coming out the next day. Currently, I like I said, I think I would like to do this maybe bi-weekly, like on a Saturday afternoon, just so we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. But yeah, guys like RJ Ronquillo, I'm trying to think of guys that I followed. I really enjoy hanging out in their live stream. I think one of the main things, like Pete Thorne, he's my Simon says here, he's got underwear older than how long I've been playing guitar. Yeah, I mean, as you would say, I'm still a young chap, right? I mean, I've been having a lot of fun with the newsletter, having a lot of fun playing guitar, and I think doing the newsletter, talking to these guys in the Discord, has just made me want to play and practice more. You know, I see guys like Simon. We have a guy in there, Bruzea. We have Silencer Hal, WD Donalds, doing all the 80s stuff. I know I'm better with screen names than I am real names at this point, but there's so many cool guys in there, and I just get inspired just from checking in on the chat every day. You know, it's a lot of fun. And I think that's inspired me to play more. There's this one guy, Silencer Hal, there, who pops in every once in a while. And, you know, we talked about a little bit of, you know, trying to replace video game time with practicing time. And I think that's why I wasn't even ready to talk about this. But I guess I'm happy, because I'm thinking about kind of stuff on the fly here that I've really been using lately. If you are a Mac or iOS user, I've been using the app Timery, which is really, really good to track my time and see where it's been going. So I'll track my regular day, you know, 9 to 5 work. I'll track time that I'm working on the newsletter. I'll track, you know, how much time I'm practicing, doing stuff for my house, and so on. So I think that's been like a big exciting thing in my life, is to track the time and really see where it's going. I have a whole category in there called leisure, and that includes stuff like watching YouTube, which can kind of be considered a little bit of work, a little bit of leisure, because I'm always trying to get stuff for the newsletter. I have stuff like video games, which, you know, lately, especially throughout this pandemic, I have been spending maybe too many times on something like Call of Duty or Fortnite, and that needs to change. And like I said, guys in the newsletter have been really, guys in the Discord have been really getting me excited to practice a lot more and more. Well, let me fix this here. Sorry, technical difficulty, still getting started. Well, all right, and we're back. See, you know, first time struggles. You think you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, still gotta see what's going on with that. Somebody's calling me. You got these spam calls. But yeah, if you're in the chat, I know, like I said, only a couple people are in the chat right now, but if you're in the chat, let me know. Any questions you have about guitar, I'd be really, really happy to answer them. What else did I want to talk about? Actually, Simon in the chat, we were discussing getting back to going to shows. You know, I live in New Jersey over here, and there's a lot of folks that I'd like to see. Some people I haven't seen, and some people are starting to book. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse for sure. You know, don't want any weird calls coming up or pictures. But yeah, I got a lot of shows that I'm looking forward to go to. We were talking about using the app Bands in Town, and I've had a lot of fun with that. You know, over the last couple years. I definitely before the pandemic, I was using it a lot. Where I was tracking my shows in there, seeing what shows I was going to, and really just having a lot of fun. Seeing what was coming up. Might have been bad for my bank account, but it was good for actually getting out and seeing shows. And like I said, Bands in Town is definitely populating more and more bands in their app right now as we go on. Living in the New Jersey, New York area, I'm really looking back to getting to see Julian Lage. Have not seen him yet, other than online, and I really want to take a look at his trio when they come around. I think they're coming around to New York and to Pennsylvania, so that should be really cool. And there's just a lot of guys who are out here. Josh Smith. If you're in the chat right now, or if you're in the comment section later, let me know who you're getting excited to see. Are you even going to be going back to shows at all? I think that's one of the biggest things. Check out the Bands in Town app. It's free right now, and it's a cool way just to buy tickets, save what bands that you're going to see. I think I synced it with my Apple Music, and it's been a lot of fun to see what shows are coming up. I'm really excited to see live music again. Before the pandemic, I was seeing guys like Big Wreck. I saw Alice Cooper for the first time. I took my mom out to see Alice Cooper, who she always loved growing up. Who else did we see? Saw Bryan Adams, saw Billy Idol, all sorts of different shows. We have this place over here called the PNC Bank Arts Center, which is an amphitheater that's a lot of fun. Really, really, really well done. Cool if you're in the seats, not as cool if you're on the grass, but definitely a fun time. All right, so yeah, was talking also earlier about books. Like I said, I have so many books here. They're just so easy right now to pick up on Amazon. There's a brand I really, really like called Fundamental Changes, and their guitar books are just fantastic. I probably have like 5 or 6 right now. I have the country compilation from Levi Clay. Have a lot of stuff on 3-note per string stuff. Just a blues compilation. Just a great brand of guitar books, and now they're getting bigger people. Like I just picked up Oz Noy's book, and I think they just had Mike Stern also make a book. So go check them out. Fundamental Changes on Amazon. They have not only physical books, which are usually about $20 each, but they also have the ebooks, and those are even cheaper. I think they're like about $10. So Simon here in the chat says, I want to see Jam Nights return so much. Yeah. I haven't done too much of the Jam Night stuff, and I know a couple people that I teach that have done a lot of that, even throughout the pandemic. Maybe like they went outside, they did like an outside jam, and they're loving it. Mike is here, said PNC, great place to see a show. Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of good people there. It's just a lot of fun. But yeah, back to books. I wanted to show with you guys. I was going to do a video on this. I never ended up doing a video. But there's this brand. Actually, let me go back to the screen share for a sec. There's this brand called Sheet Happens Publishing. And these guys are really cool. They produce books for artists that maybe are not getting a bigger book from somebody like a Hal Leonard or a Cherry Lane. From what I can remember, it was started by the band Protest the Hero, from what I remember. And now, they have books from all sorts of different artists, like Intervals, Pliny from Australia, who's a great guitar player. Go check him out. You even have, I picked up a book from them, and it is from, let me show you again. Let me go back to the main camera. It is from Thank You Scientist, and it's for their Terraformer album. And I just been, tearing through this book. The tab is really, really well done, as you can see here. And it's a spiral-bound, hardcover book. It has cool color graphics in between the songs. And The cool thing I like about Sheet Happens is it wasn't super cheap, but um, the cool thing about that is you get the book, and it was like maybe like $30, $35, which you think is a little bit of money. But the good thing about it was that they also give you the digital copy, so something that you can throw into Guitar Pro, and you know. That was great. The only thing I'll say, and that's maybe because I live in New Jersey, I think it was coming from Canada. Hello to all the Canadian watchers up here. Was that it took a little bit of time to actually get me the book, but that's where the cool thing about the digital files come in. So they sent me a PDF right away, and they sent me all the Guitar Pro files. And if you haven't checked out Guitar Pro, first of all, go check out Levi Clay's channel, because he's a great transcriber, and he has a lot of great videos on Guitar Pro. He's an excellent guy. He's done transcribing for so many different people. But he's actually the first person that turned me on to Sheet Happens, and then I picked up this book from them. But yeah, you have the Guitar Pro versions before the actual paper version gets to you, and there's a lot of, variety between that, and there's a lot of benefits to having the Guitar Pro version. Actually, if you are in the chat, what do you like to learn from more? Do you like a physical book more, or do you like the Guitar Pro version or the PDF version? Because for me personally, I really like I like a bit of both. I've always been a fan of physical books, but I do like the Guitar Pro versions, because I like hearing how the songs sound, and if I'm getting them right. And Guitar Pro is like I said, one of my favorite programs that I've been using, not only to listen to other bands' songs, but to also write my own riffs. Transcribe down what I'm talking about. Simon here says PDF, as I can use it on my iPad. Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, the nice thing about the iPad is that you can bring it to lessons. You can bring it out on a gig. I've actually been using an M1 Air, and that's been a fantastic computer. Right around, I think it was like around $1,000, $1,200, and it's been fantastic. Mike says digital all the way because I don't have time to hunt it down when I get time. Yeah, that's true. I think the immediacy of that has led a lot of people to buy the Kindle version of a lot of these books, or the Guitar Pro version of a lot of these books. So that's really, really cool. And then yeah, I only had so much to talk about today. Just kind of wanted to work out some of the kinks here. As you can see, I have a couple things I do need to get to. But yeah, if you have any questions, whether they be guitar questions, recording, mixing, music in general, throw them into the chat. And then if you're not watching live, definitely comment something, and I'd like to get back to you at some point. Trying to see what else I was looking to talk about. Album recommendations. Ooh. There's so much stuff coming out. Actually, Simon was saying Eric Gale's playing in Aurora, Illinois tonight. Ooh. That's going to be a good show. I've not gotten to see him live, but I'm sharing a link in tomorrow's newsletter of the channel Guitar Pilgrim, who is a really great channel here on YouTube also. Seeing, I think, Eric Gales for the first time and just getting blown away. He's one of those guys that everyone says is amazing, and he is. If you haven't seen Eric Gales and how amazing he plays blues, go check him out. I think, from what I can remember, yeah. Speaking of which, Eric Gale's new album is coming out soon. I'm not sure of the release date, but we'll definitely link to it in the newsletter. Eric Gale's new album is being produced by Joe Bonamassa. It has to be good. If his other albums are already good, I gotta imagine that Joe Bonamassa's production is going to be even better. And on top of that, Joe Bonamassa finally has released Royalty, which is a live gig that he just recently did It's streaming everywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, and so on. You can go check that out. Really, really great album. Just pulling up music right now to see if I can recommend any other cool albums I've been listening to lately. But that's definitely one of them. Joe Bonamassa Royalty. Let's see what else we got here. Coffee break. Um, also, I know only so many people are a fan of him, but we had Frank Zappa new live album come out just this Friday, and it's Zappa '88, the last U.S. show, which is crazy. If you're a fan of Zappa, you're a fan. If not, you know, he might not be your cup of tea. What else did I listen to? If you're in an indie mood, the Shins came out with Oh Inverted World, the 20th anniversary, and another 20th anniversary was Origin of Symmetry, another 20th anniversary album from Muse, which is just wild to me that those are 20 years old at this point. I can't even believe that. Her came out with Back in My Mind Apple Music Edition, which she's also making big waves. Fear Factory came out with a new album called Aggression Continuum, which is awesome. That's what I've been checking out at least since Friday in the last day or so. There's a lot of people coming out with new albums. Simon says, if Clapton, Jagger, your favorite band, calls and needs a guitarist tonight, what are you taking with you? You have to pick one guitar, 3 pedals, and 1 amp. Wow. From my own arsenal, I've always let's start with the easier stuff first. I have a Mesa Boogie half stack with a Marshall 1968. Really, really easy for me to choose that. I have a Mesa Mark Series head that I've used for a long, long time. Probably needs to be retubed at this point, but yeah, that's probably going to be my amp. I've lugged it all over the U.S. and it's treated me really well. It's probably need a rewrap on the 1968 on the Marshall cab because it's in rough shape, but it works. Guitar. I mean, I have a couple to pick from, but for versatility, if I want to punish myself, I'm going to go with the Tele. For clarity and everything, I think the Tele might be best. But really, I've had a couple. I have an ESP KH2, the Kirk Hammett one with skulls, Strat style. I've played everything from metal to jazz on that, and I really like that. I have a Charvel right now that I've been using a lot. 3 pedals. For me personally, I would say maybe my Crybaby GCB 535Q wah, which has served me also really, really well. I always need a wah. I always need a delay of some type, so I would say the DD6. Not very exciting, but if you watch something like the JHS show or any of these other people that the pedal show or Andertons, man, those Boss pedals, something about them. I just always have loved a DD6. It hasn't failed me in over a decade. I love that pedal. So the wah DD6, and this, I'm getting to be lucky here because my distortion's usually coming from my amp, where I'll have the distortion from the amp and I'll turn my volume knob down for a cleaner tone. So, man, I'd probably want to pick something funky like the Line 6 FM4 or my Whammy, but I'm just gonna stick with the 2 for right now. The wah 535Q and a Boss DD6. Those are my go-tos. I just need them. I'm not here's a question for you guys. Are you using reverb on your amp all the time? Is that something that you always have on? Is that something that you always have on for like something like delay? Do you have delay on all the time? For me, it was kind of hit or miss. Some riffs are great with delay on all the time, and sometimes you just want, especially when you're playing rhythm. I always found it to be nice, kind of without the delay. If ever I add verb to taste, and sometimes I use the pedal for that. One of the pedals I was using when I was gigging out more was the Holy Stain by Electro Harmonics. Man, another big brand that I've always liked. I have the Holy Stain from them. Also have the Big Muff PI, which is really really fun. So yeah, Mike is saying totally depends. Yeah, I agree. It really depends on the situation and what you're going for. But let's be honest. I mean, I think if you're really gonna break it down to just the guitar types, you can't go wrong with a Strat, and you can't go wrong with a Les Paul. And that's me not having always been the biggest fan of Les Pauls. I'm more of a fan of like Tellys and Strats with humbuckers, Strat style guitars. Um, Simon's saying here, cannot play without reverb. It's against nature to do otherwise. Wow, yeah. I mean, I guess it really depends. Coming from a standpoint of being an engineer as well, um, I like to use reverb. Uh, you know, with I like to use reverb only a little bit, but when it sounds good, it's good. Simon, if you're using reverb, what reverb are you using? So yeah, if you're in the chat, what what reverb do you like to use, and what pedals do you guys like to use? I'm gonna throw the question back to you guys. Um, if you had only one guitar amp to play, and if you had a couple pedals to go on, what would you do? Because it's a little difficult. We have so many different scenarios. If I were saying like, hey, I'm going out to play in a Brad Paisley cover band, and hello to all the Brad Paisley fans out there, I'd probably take my Telly in a heartbeat. Maybe I would take just my Fractal AX8 for amps and totally ditch my amp, and I'd probably just throw maybe a compressor and a delay on there. I think that's really all you need. There's maybe a boost. Um, but that would be my setup for something like country. Speaking of Brad Paisley, because we're going off in all different tangents here, but speaking of Brad Paisley, um, I think that's another thing too. That's why I'm always excited to listen to new stuff on Fridays, because I just like to listen to so much different music and kind of meld them all together. Um, I was never a huge fan of country until, and Mike, who's in the chat here, I think maybe we started liking some of that stuff at the same time. Um, Never was a huge fan of country stuff until I started listening to Brad Paisley, and it was right around the time of his Play album. And man, it's such a good album. If you're not into country at all, I'd be surprised if you would listen to Brad Paisley's Play album and don't come away thinking that he's a fantastic guitar player, because he really is. Um, that just really got me interested in country guitar playing. And then I was so happy to find guys like Levi Clay, who was doing country style guitar lessons through, again, Fundamental Changes books that have been a lot of fun. And checking out guys like John Five. John Five is the perfect example of that, where John Five was in Marilyn Manson's band, was in Rob Zombie's band, was in David Lee Roth's band for a long time. And I got to see him out in New Jersey as well, which was a great show. One of my favorite shows before this pandemic was seeing John Five in New Jersey, and the opener was Jared James Nichols, which, if you haven't heard him too, another great blues guitar player who is also making waves. He has two signature guitars. He has two signature guitars right now. He has the Old Glory, which is an Epiphone with one P90, I believe, and then he has the Gold Glory, which is a gold top version of that. And I wasn't a huge fan of the guitar itself when I played it at Sam Ash, but he makes it sound great. I'm not sure if he's using the exact same Epiphone, but man, that he made it sound phenomenal. And if you go check out Jared James Nichols' albums, come back and tell me what you think, because wow, he's a phenomenal player. He almost stole the show from John Five, I'll be honest. The cool thing about John Five, if you do get to go see him, is that, man, if you're a fan of Tellys, just go out to see John Five, because he had one that lights up. He had one that was a gold top version. He had one that had liquid in it that was reacting to the black lights. And the other cool thing he had two full stacks, if I remember, and the heads were on top. but instead of the cabs being traditional cabs, they were actually just screens. I gotta put a picture up to the Chasing Sound Twitter at some point, but he had these full stack screens going at all time, just showing horror movie stuff, which he's into, and it was just wild. It was a very wild night, and I'm really looking to see John Five again. If I can get to see him again, I definitely will. Uh, Simon is saying here, I'll stop using Reaver before I listen to country. Fair enough. Fair enough. Mike is saying always a bad horsey wah. Yeah, I mean, I would like to know if you guys dig the bad horsey wah. I think a lot of people are moving over to that the having the lack of having to actually turn the wah on, which has been a pain point for a lot of players. With the bad horsey wah, I want to know because I have used one only a little bit. I've heard it so many times because of when you're using it as more of a filter though, and you have your heel all the way back, is it still on? That's my question because like I said, I'm so used to using Dunlop stuff that I haven't used the Bad Horsey that much, but the tone of it, and Vi doing something like Bad Horsey, the actual song is just awesome. We also have Simon saying here, I saw ACDC a few years ago, and Tyler Bryant was the opener. These days, the opener is always more interesting. I hear you. There's been a lot of shows like that lately that really, really surprised me. When I went to go see Big Wreck, I mean, not that they were better, but when I went to go see Big Wreck in Asbury Park, and that was one of the last shows I got to see before everything went down. Before I saw them, they were playing with this other band, I think from Toronto, who just was very excited. Like they were very excited to be there in some small club in New Jersey where there was about maybe 30, 35 people. So really, really cool. Mike is saying for the bad horsey, no, it turns off. Yeah. See, that for me, I'm not a big fan of because if I want to do something like a swell with, or like a filter swell with the wah, that bothers me. So if you guys know any wahs that have that, like put your foot on to engage, but with your heel all the way back, it doesn't turn off, I think I'd be interested in hearing about that. It's so funny because I was playing more shows in my 20s when pedals were only starting to get more and more exciting. So, stuff like an Alliance 6 FM4 was exciting and it was really cool. And there was only so many boutique makers at the time. Now there's so many that to be honest, I can't even keep up. I was really excited to see Reverb's the pedal movie. I thought that was amazing. It really, really inspired me. I know Simon might tease me, but I got a pedal kit. Since then, I have to build my own because I really wanted to start getting back into soldering stuff and making pedals. I got a fuzz that I want to try. So if you haven't checked that out, I think it was about $9.99 to purchase. Go check out Reverb's The Pedal Movie. It was a great documentary. A lot of the usual culprits are there. Josh from JHS. I mean, it was just really cool. I thought it was good for the amount of time that the movie was. Really shows stuff like the early fuzzes and how mistakes turned into what pedals what pedals we have today up until really, really wacky stuff like you see from again Electro Harmonics or some of these more crazier boutique makers where you see pedals that are in the $300 to $400 range. Actually, I think that's one of my other questions too. If you're buying pedals, what's your range? I mean, like, what's your budget for pedals? Like, what are you willing to spend right now? And I think the same thing goes for guitars. What are you willing to spend for guitars right now? We talk a lot in our Discord chat about what you can get for a low price. I mean, a low price, maybe like $1,000 for a guitar. I think you can get a great guitar. What guitars are you guys seeing that you think are a great budget deal? So under $1,000 and it really makes a difference. Or same thing goes for pedals. I can only speak for myself with that Charvel DK24 I picked up. I've had to put in a good amount of work for tuning stability on it, but man, I'm a big fan of the color orange. I'll be the first to admit that that was one of the first things that got me excited to actually pick it up, because I already had a Charvel San Dimas before that, and I sold that one. I picked up the DK24. Has locking tuners. I like the contrasting orange guitar body and the white hardware. It sounds really cool, and it's been a lot of fun. That was right under $1,000, and man, I just really love that guitar. For pedals, I would say, man, a lot of the stuff that JHS is coming out with right now is a really good deal. Some of the stuff from Electroharmonics, some of the stuff from Wampler. It's funny, actually, speaking of Wampler, I'm such a huge fan of guitar podcasts, and there's only so many out there. If you listen to a guitar podcast, throw it into the chat, because I'd really like to know. But guitar podcasts, there's only so many I listen to. I listen to No Guitar Is Safe. I listen to Guitar Wank. I listen to only a couple. I would say like 5 or 6 right now that I actually listen to religiously. But I listen to the Chasing Tone podcast, which always makes me laugh because we have such a similar name with the Chasing Sound stuff. But Brian Wampler and company over there are doing an awesome job. I love the podcast. It's kind of similar to what I like to do here. Maybe a little bit of guitar talk, a little bit of music talk, a little bit of talk about just random events. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys hanging out in the chat. I know it's the weekend, so you could be doing other things. So I really do appreciate you guys hanging out. And yeah, I would just love to get more and more people for the next couple ones. Just the Discord makes me so happy, and we only have maybe less than 50 people in there. So if we can even get more people in the chat for these YouTube live streams, I think that would be really, really cool. Simon is saying here, I've never spent more than $1,500 on any guitar off the shelf for parts. I don't see the need to spend more than that. Yeah, I hear you. I'm a similar way. The only guitar I've ever spent more on would be that Kirk Hammett. That's when I was really, really young. I mean, still in my teens, where I just got lucky. I came into a little bit of money through a relative and was able to get it. Kirk Hammett was the reason that I picked up guitar in the first place. So I was so excited, and I feel like I didn't need that guitar to continue playing, but it really made a big impact on me, playing down the line. Pedals, I spent $400 on an overdrive, but that's rare. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I look at Ariel Posen. Actually, somebody was in the chat today who just dropped into the Discord for the first time today and was asking about slide guitar playing and who to check out. And man, if you've read the newsletter and if you've been in the chat, man, I'm such a huge fan of Ariel Posen. Really cool guy from Canada. 2 great albums that he's come out with already. And his whole pedal board, though, seems like a couple $1,000. And I just, I would love to have the money for that, but just seems a little crazy with some of the other stuff that you can get for less than that right now. Mike is saying, I used to have a rule of not spending over $1,000 on a guitar, but I smashed that rule a few years ago. Yeah, Mike in the chat, he's one of those guys who is the king of flipping, I would say, because he'll take a guitar and sell what he needs to sell just to buy the new stuff. And I have to get a little bit better at that. I'm the guy that has cables and mics and pedals, from a long time ago that maybe haven't been on the pedal board for a long time and need to get going. That's why I think it's kind of funny when you see these reverb shops open up for these famous guys and they're selling all the stuff that they don't want when they're moving into a new studio. I've seen so many different ones. So yeah, I think that's something that I need to work on is selling other stuff to get the new stuff. Kind of did that with the Charvel, but I need to get better at that. Yeah, for me personally, I would say probably like $250 is the max for pedals right now, just because I have a lot of stuff already on the board and not looking to get a lot of new stuff. One thing I am interested in, though, when I do build a new board, and I've kind of been like buying pedals here and there. Mike says Reverb for the win. Yeah, Reverb's such a great site. One thing I do want to get into when I start building the new board, and I've been piecing it together, is a lot more mini pedals. I would like to get your take on if you like mini pedals, what you think about them. At some point I was like, man, these have to be something like a fad. But at this point, they actually seem really cool. They made a big impression on the guitar world. You know, um, yeah. Let's see. Let me see if I can go back here. Mini pedals. Yeah, there's so many from MXR to Ibanez. There's just so many, and even speaking of stuff like wahs, they now have the mini wah and so on. Um, Again, I thought at first, man, they might not last for too long, but listen, if you're on this live stream right now, or if you're checking out this channel, we like to buy gear, right? I mean, let's be honest. So, um, I think the more pedals that you could put on the board, the better. I was actually watching a video yesterday from Philip Ignite. I got to link it in the chat somewhere. But I was watching a video from Philip Ignite, and go check out his channel. He was looking at Vernon Reed's pedal board, and it was just insanity. It's like 4 or 5 different pedal boards put together, where he can get all these crazy tones, from regular tones to reverbs and delays to MIDI tones. It was just wild. If you want to see a huge, I thought the guys from bands like Korn or some of these other guys, like even Animals as Leaders, had huge pedal boards. Vernon Reed's puts them to shame. It's like almost like a U2 The Edge level. He had so many pedals, so really really cool. And speaking of The Edge, if you're a fan of The Edge and you've never seen this film yet, I just watched it again the other day. Go check out It Might Get Loud. If you've never seen that, we're talking about stuff like Reverb's The Pedal Movie. Another classic is the It Might Get Loud movie, which featured The Edge. It featured Jimmy Page, and it also featured Jack White, which was really cool. So that's really cool. Just watched that again the other day, and it was cool to see such a big difference between the 3 guitarists. They're all important for their own right, but you have somebody like Jack White, who's so bare bones, even though he's been getting into pedals, and even his brand, Third Man Records, has been doing a lot of collaborations. And then you see somebody like The Edge with a literal fridge worth of rack unit gear, and it's just been wild. It's been really wild stuff. Yeah, check out It Might Get Loud. So one thing that I can mention is that if you drop in the Discord, or if you drop on the live stream at some point here, I will let you know that it may cost you money. I think that's the one thing I can say for sure. We've all spent a lot of money due to the chat. Just we're linking to different gear all day, guitars, pedals, amps, apps. That's I'm gonna save some stuff for the next stream, but I've just been such a huge fan of different apps on my iPhone, and I think that's something that we can go over for another live stream. Just talking about apps that make a big difference for not only your practicing, but getting into music, practicing guitar, transcribing guitar, maybe on the fly with your phone. I mentioned Guitar Pro earlier, and if you go to the website, I think I should have it up there now. If you go to the website, I usually have a link on the side, where you can check out Guitar Pro. This is the one I was mentioning before. If you use the link on my site, I do get a little cut. Guitar Pro is at Guitar Pro 7.5 right now. It's an awesome program. There's a couple programs. I just actually put it up on Chasing Sound a little while back. Let's take a look. Perfect practice schedule. Music apps I install on every Mac. So you can see Guitar Pro. This was from April. Guitar Pro is one of the ones that I use all the time. I just mentioned I got that M1 Mac, MacBook Air. Guitar Pro was one of the first apps that I put on there. Also had Earmaster. If you're not familiar with this, I started using something like this when I was going to school for recording. But Earmaster is all about intervals. It's something cool that you can use for your Mac. I think it might be on iOS now also, and probably also is for PC, but Earmaster. The interface is a little wonky, but it's really, really cool for learning intervals, which is so important. And you can use your microphone to sing the intervals out, and it's really, really helpful. Transcribe is another app that's really, really cool. The thing about Transcribe is that it allows you to, let's see if we can go to their site. I don't know if they have too many screenshots, but Transcribe is about $39 right now, and it is a great app that you can put into your Mac that allows you to slow down audio. And I've been using it for videos from YouTube. I would download the video from YouTube, and I would, something like Mick Rocklin. He plays all these riffs that are like, man, they take a while to learn, to say the least. And I've put some of his videos that I've downloaded into Transcribe, and I'll pitch them. I'll put them down to about 50% to start, 60%, and every so often I'll kick it back up to like 60%, 75%. And the great thing about Transcribe is that it doesn't ruin the pitch of the music, so it doesn't change anything. You're actually playing along with it, just more slow. So yeah, guys like I have players here, guys like Thomas McRocklin, Greg Koch, Joe Bonamassa, Mr. Fastfinger. These are all guys that play riffs that are out of my speed range initially, and while I try to learn them, I think it's perfect. If you've ever been a fan of somebody like Troy Grady, who does the excellent website and YouTube channel Cracking the Code, he talks about having slowed down guys like Eddie Van Halen and Yngwie Malmsteen back in the past with his keyboard, I think it was, or even with a tape deck. And Transcribe is like the modern day version of that. It's awesome. I actually have a full review of Transcribe. You can check it on the website. Another thing I'm using is neck diagrams. So we'll talk about iOS apps another time, but I just wanted to talk a little bit more about Mac apps, and then maybe we'll close out. Neck diagrams. I've used this for a while. Again, if you take a look at this website, it is a little old school, as you can see here. Kind of looks like a 1990s, early 2000s website. It's still a lot of fun though. The cool thing about neck diagrams is that it lets you create neck diagrams for stuff like let's go to the screenshots. Stuff like scales and stuff like chords. It's a really, really great program. So chord boxes, fretboard diagrams. I feel like for a long time, Dave Weiner was using this, and I think that's where I first found it. It's just really great. If you do any type of teaching, you got to check out neck diagrams. It's not a lot of money. It does have a free trial. It's pretty cool. I told you I would make you spend money on this live stream, so I apologize. But neck diagrams is cool from $29. It's just great. Does what it says. What else do we have? This one's free, so this one I believe is only for Mac. This is one I got recently. Oh, I don't know if I can find it here, but it's called. You can see it on the App Store. It's called. I think it's IINA. Let's see if I can find it here. Yep, here it is. So it's the modern media player for macOS. I'm not using it for any video whatsoever. Maybe I'll show it on another live stream. What I'm using it for is for audio exercises from books. So I mentioned fundamental changes earlier on. If I'm learning, 20 exercises from a chapter in Osnoy's book, and I don't want to go back to Finder to find the audio, I'll just use this because it loads up the files in such a nice way. You can kind of use keyboard shortcuts to go between the exercises, and it doesn't, the interface is just really clean and nice to use. That's free. Then we'll skip to the bottom here for a sec. I'm using Logic Pro. I'm using Apple Music and Spotify. We'll talk about that another time. I will at least talk about the streaming side another time and why I'm using two streaming services for streaming music. Logic Pro I could talk about quickly, and then we'll talk about this stuff up here, Audio Hijack and Loopback. Logic Pro I've been using just because I like having the most up-to-date version of my recording software. I am a long time user of Pro Tools. I'm talking a long time. But Ever since a couple years ago, I just really dislike their subscription strategy. I hated it. So I've been using Logic Pro lately, and I've been getting along really well with it. Um, I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about Logic right now. The way that they are good, the way Simon's saying you just spent $55. Well, I appreciate you clicking my link. It's a really good app. You're not going to be so many people are using Guitar Pro right now that you're not going to be sad that you did. It's really good. And he's saying he has to drop off. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming and joining the live stream. So yeah, we're almost going to wrap you up here too. But let's just talk about Logic Pro and Audio Hijack and stuff. Logic Pro, I just can't believe how much stuff they put in every update. Uh, it costs around $2.99, and that's it. I mean, they haven't charged for upgrades in years, and it's like a it's like a high powered GarageBand. If you're using Pro Tools and you'd rather use the Mac equivalent, maybe take a look at Logic Pro. Pro Tools, the actual program itself, I love it. I'm quick in using Pro Tools, but Logic has just been, you know, more compatible with how I work now, and I don't have to worry that the Mac OS updates to stuff like Monterey and Logic is not compatible. It's going to be compatible, whereas with Pro Tools I do have to wait. So, lastly, Audio Hijack and Loopback. So these are a little bit these are a little bit about teaching, but they could also be good for anybody really. So right now I think I have Audio Hijack, Loopback, Piezo, and Sound Source. Audio Hijack, the great thing about it is that you can record audio from anywhere. You can make these little trees of your input devices, effects, recorders. If you need to record a Skype call, if you want to get something like, for me, I'm using a Fractal AX8, which is a amp modeler, effects modeler. If I want to get that in and also my USB mic, I can. So it's a lot of fun. Audio Hijack is awesome. And all the people at Rogue Amoeba are really, really cool. I've been talking to them over the last couple of years. Really nice people. Loopback. This is excellent because it allows you to combine multiple different audios and then output them wherever you want to go. So basically, they call it a transit system for your audio. We could think of it in terms of guitar and engineers as like patch cables. Right here, they're talking about putting a USB mic. They're talking about putting Apple Music and outputting them into a certain amount of channels. Something's going through a USB output. Something's going through the internal speakers. Loopback is awesome. If you need to get stuff, I mean, we're moving out of the Zoom phase right now, where we don't have to worry about being on Zoom all the time. But Loopback is really good for Zoom as well, because if you want to bring in audio from somewhere else, Loopback really makes it easy. I know I'm sounding like a advertisement for these guys, but these are the apps I actually use day in and day out. Piezo is like the small version of Audio Hijack. It just does one thing well. Piezo is, as you can see, this is the entire interface. If you need to record something, whether that be a USB mic, whether that be audio from Safari, the web browser, you just pick your source here. You see your levels here, and you just press record. You name the file, and that's pretty much it. I haven't used Piezo in a long time now because I have stuff like Audio Hijack, but if you're just getting started, Piezo is great. And then the last one, which I just picked up, which is called Sound Source, I almost couldn't believe this because I've been using Macs for a million years now, and I just couldn't remember that they didn't have a per app volume level. What I did was recently I was working on the newsletter, but in the bottom right, in picture, I wanted to have the Stanley Cup playoffs going on, but I didn't want to hear them. I just wanted to see the video, and I couldn't turn the audio down without turning the entire audio down of my entire computer. So Sound Source actually lets you do that, and it's really, really cool. Go check out Rogue Amoeba's apps if you ever talk to any of these guys. So from Rogue Amoeba or Neck Diagrams, Transcribe, Earmaster, Guitar Pro, head to this post. I'll actually put it into the chat. These are my must-have apps that I install on every Mac. If you do it, some of the links that I have on my website are affiliate links. I get a small cut. It doesn't really charge you anything above what you would normally pay. So I really, really appreciate that. It's really cool. And yeah, check out chasingsound.com. I think as I do more of these live streams, I'm going to be enticed to write more on the site like I used to. Make sure you sign up for Six String Sunday, the newsletter. We're having a lot of fun with it, and you'll always know when the latest live streams are. You'll know the best, coolest stuff in the guitar world that happens each and every Sunday. So you don't have to scour the entire internet. I will do that for you. And yeah, I just appreciate everyone who coming on for this first one or checking out the replay. If you missed this one, hop on to the next one. I'd love to have you and answer any guitar questions. It's going to be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing this first one. I didn't think I was going to have a lot to talk about, and here we are at an hour and 4 minutes. So I will see you on the next one, and thanks so much for watching.